All right, so let's proceed further. So let's get started. Now we're going to talk about, as you see on the screen, we're going to talk about the control part. We're going to look at the control part. That is, we have already built the schedule. We know how much time it's going to take for the project through the critical path analysis. We need to ensure that we find out if we are doing the project within time. If we have scheduled that the project should be done in 1 year, 5 months down the line also, are we expecting the project to be done in 1 year, or now the progress is so slow that we would not be able to do it in 1 year? And if we still need to do in 1 year, do we need extra money? Right, so that's we need to continuously keep on checking. Are we on track, or we are deviating? Are we doing faster? Are we going slower? Are we spending more? Are we spending less? That's what we need to check. So this diagram, what I have prepared over here, on the left-hand side, I have mentioned cost, and the right-hand side, in the y-axis, we have mentioned time. So let's say this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So let's say this is 40, it's 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. Now, of course, this is not exactly the same scale. Just going to give you an idea. 10,000, 20, 30,000. This is 40,000. Let's say this is 50K, 60K, 70, 80, and 90,000. We plan the project to be completed by spending $100,000. So what's my budget? My budget is $100,000. That's what I planned for in the beginning. How much time did I plan to spend? This is, let's say, 1 month, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's say this is 10 months project, right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 months. I'm not going to add unit to everything. Now, this should not be too difficult for you to draw. I'm sure you have already done it. If not, it should not be too difficult for you to draw. You have planned how much time it's going to take for your project. You have planned your budget, so you should know how much money are you going to spend and what time interval. And I've just prepared that into a graph. I've just plotted that into a graph. In 1 month, I plan to spend, so then this line that we have, the first line that we have drawn over here, this is my plan line. This is my plan. What did I plan in the beginning, right? So I planned that in 1 month, I should have spent, let's say, around $4,000. 2 months I plan to spend $10,000. 3 months I plan to spend around somewhere around $30,000. No. In 3 months I plan to spend 10,000. 4 months I plan to spend around 20K. 5 months I plan to spend 30K, and so on. Now this line is curved. Why would it be curved? The line is curved because in the beginning, this is the planning stage. In the planning, in the initiation and planning, who's involved? In initiation and planning, it's only project manager and your project manager, and probably pre-assigned team member would be involved. Nobody else would be there in the project, right? In the planning stage, when your team members are not there, you have not hired the workforce, you have not spent the money on buying the raw material. So why would your expense be higher? It would not go, you would not spend that much money during the planning stage. Then let's say this is the execution stage, execution and monitoring and controlling, which happens together, right? So this is the stage where majority of money is getting spent. And towards the end, while closing, you will not release everybody together. You will slowly start to ramp down the team, right? You will slowly start to ramp down the team, and that's how you will, towards the end, the cost will start tapering off, right? So that's how the expense is done in the project. That is why this looks like S, and that's why this is called as S curve. This plan that you have prepared is called as S curve, and this is also known as cumulative spend curve. This is also referred as cumulative spend curve. Now, I have prepared the plan, so I know that I just need to connect the dots. In 5 months, I'm connecting the dot over here. In 5 months, I should have spent $30,000. This is my plan. No dispute about it. This is what I planned, right? So I've just mentioned over here in the front, plan value is $30,000. When you plan to do something, is it necessary that you would be on the plan? Not necessary, right? A lot of you would be preparing a budget on the first of the month when you get the salary. But how many of us run out of money towards the end of the month, or get into situations where there is an unexpected expense that we have to make? For example, the car broke down. We have to get it repaired. The tires has to be changed, which we never anticipated. Somebody, somebody probably damaged your car, and because of that, you have to get it repaired. Some unexpected expense. Similarly, in the project, it could also happen. You were working on the project, a team member left the organization, and you had to hire the backup. So work was not happening, but the money was getting spent, right? How much did you actually spend? Can you find it out? Why not? Just look into your bank balance and try to find out how much have you spent on the project so far. That is your actual cost. How much have we spent so far? So I have already spent $45,000. And this is how I've just done the reconciliation and found out this is how my spending looked like. I should have spent $30,000, but I have spent $45,000. So I spent $15,000 more than what I expected to spend. I spent more, right? Which is not good. Of course, it's not good. With this, you would probably be spending more than $100,000 for the project if you continue doing this way, right? So if you plan to spend $30,000, ideally you should have spent $30,000. But in this situation, you have spent $45,000. Now, the situation which I quoted, your team member left the organization, so money was getting spent, but the work was not happening, right? It's not necessary, right? You plan to complete, let's say by now, you should have completed 30% of the work. By spending $30,000, you should have completed, let's say, 30% of the work. This is what you planned to do. By spending $30,000, you plan to complete 30% of the work, right? How can you find it out? If you have done the project management using MS Project, Primavera, Jira, in any of those tools, you get this information. What is the total percentage of the work that's been completed so far? Once you plan it, once you put it over there, the tools give you this information. I'm sure it's not difficult. The same example which we quoted earlier, let's say A, B, C, D. If these 4 tasks has to be completed to complete the project, and each task is of same duration and same duration, then if you have completed activity A or task A, then you have completed 25% of the project. You know that you have completed 25% of the project. If you have completed half of B, then 25% plus 12.5%. That's how you can find it out, right? It's not too difficult to find out how much percentage of the work that you have completed on the project. The percentage work done, times budget or multiplied by budget, which is called as BAC, budget at completion, will give you earned value. What is the earned value? Earned value is the value, the worth of the money that you have generated. You have spent $1, but the worth of it, you might have got just probably few cents, right? Not necessary that you will get the worth of every dollar spent in the project. Right now, let's say you have completed only 10% of the work. So 10% into, what's your budget here? $100,000. So your BAC over here is $100,000. 10% into $100,000 is your earned value, which is $10,000, right? Worth of work that you have generated. That's called as the earned value. That is simple to calculate. Till now, what is the percentage of work that we have done multiplied by budget? So far, so good. Any questions? If you have any questions, kindly put in chat window, please. Even if you don't have questions, kindly put in chat window. It's all clear. Three concepts that what I've explained, rather four. One is BAC, which is budget at completion. Then AC, which is actual cost. PV, which is planned value. And EV, which is earned value, which is calculated as percentage work done multiplied by BAC. Are these four concepts clear? Yes, no, on the chat window, please. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Right. BAC and plan value. Look at over here. We have said plan value is $30,000 and BAC is $100,000. So what's the difference? The difference is of $70,000, right? BAC is total money that you plan to spend on the project. Total money, total overall budget that you have for the project. That is $100,000. Till now, how much did you plan to spend? You are 4 months in the project, 5 months in the project, 5.5 months in the project. Till now, how much did you plan to spend? Which is going to be a portion of your BAC. It cannot be the complete BAC. So till now, how much did you plan to spend is the planned value. Okay, all right. Perfect. So now we know what is actual cost, what is planned value, and what is earned value. Let me clear all the drawings that we have over here. We have got budget at completion, which was 100K in our example. The duration of the project that we planned initially was 10 months. This is what we started off with. This was the starting numbers. What we found out today was actual cost, planned value, and earned value. Using these three, you as a project manager need to calculate the present and the future. How are you doing today, and how do you expect to be doing tomorrow, right? You are interested towards finding out your present and your present depicts the future. So you're interested in future as well. These are two things that you want to understand. Present and future. What do you want to find out for the present and future? You want to find out, are you on budget? And are you on track to complete the project on time? You want to find out the cost and schedule. Similarly, for the future as well, you want to find out the cost and schedule, right? You should have spent $30,000, but you have spent $45,000. How much additional you have spent? $15,000. So you're looking at the variance. For the present, we always look at the variance. How much are we varying from the expected value? This is cost variance and schedule variance. So what I've just depicted over here is present, which is CV, cost variance, and SV, which is schedule variance. Please make notes as we speak. And for future, we have, for future, we will calculate in terms of index. We'll find it out in terms of index. So we'll find it out for cost performance index, how are we doing for the future? Are we on track or not? We'll calculate that in index format. cost performance index and schedule performance index. So for future, we have CPI, which is cost performance index, and SPI, which is schedule performance index. Now, that means we are looking for 4 formulas over here. Good thing is everything starts with earned value. So we'll mention that over here. EV. Everything starts with earned value. So we have used the earned value here. This earned value is gone. I've taken it out. What is left now? Actual cost and planned value. What is variance? Variance mathematically, if you have to depict, that is called as the minus sign. So I'll put that minus sign over here. And index is depicted by the division sign. So I've just put negative and division signs over here. Cost variance. Where do we see cost in the remaining things that we have to plug? Actual cost or planned value? Where is the word cost? It's in actual cost, not the planned value. So wherever it is cost, I'm just going to plug it. Actual cost for the cost variance, and here actual cost for cost performance index as well. So this is also gone now. What is left out now is the planned value. What is now left out is the planned value. So I'm just going to plug in the planned value here and planned value here as well, right? So we have got the formulas completed. Let me do this again just to ensure that we got all the formulas. Right. So present, everything starts with, first of all, earned value. Present and future, everything starts with earned value. Out of these 3, I've taken out earned value. I'm left with actual cost and planned value. How do you depict variance? By the negative sign. So I've just put the negative sign over here. How do you depict the performance index? Index is depicted by the division sign. So I've just put in the division sign over here. Now, where do we see cost? Cost variance or schedule variance? We see that in cost variance. Where do we see cost in the remaining 2 values that we have to plug? Actual cost or planned value? It's in actual cost. So we'll match cost to cost. Actual cost over here and actual cost over here. Let's take this out. What's left now is only planned value, and that's what we're going to plug over here. That completes us with the most important formulas to calculate the present and the future, right? So what is the cost variance over here? Earned value was $30,000 and the actual cost was $45,000 minus $15,000. That means we have overspent by $15,000. And schedule variance will come as 30,000 minus the, sorry, what did I do? 10 minus 45. So that should be, earned value is 10,000 minus actual cost is, so that will be minus $35,000. Right. So you have overspent. And the schedule variance will be 10 minus 30, which is minus $20,000. Now you would say, we are talking about schedule, but we are putting that into dollars. It doesn't make sense at all. Yes, it doesn't make sense right now. We need to convert this dollar into the time format, which we'll do it in short while. We cannot do it for the present, but for future we can do it. The negative sign only indicates that you're lagging behind. You're going slower than your commitment. It just indicates that. How slow? We don't know. How much slow? We don't know, right? It just indicates that you're slow. You're going behind schedule. You're lagging behind schedule. That's all it indicates. Future earned value divided by actual cost will be 10,000 divided by $45,000. So that should be, let's calculate that 1 second. So this will be, how much is it? Earned value, 10 divided by 45, 0.22. So this will be 0.22. 2, and 10 divided by 30 should be 0.33. Right, this is 0.33. What is this index? How is this going to depict and tell me if I am lagging behind, that how much, what is the time that I'm going to take? And what is the additional budget that I need? I don't know at the moment. These numbers are too vague for me to make the judgment. How do we find it out? We know what is the budget. Budget was $100,000, but with the same speed, if I continue, how much would I end up spending is what I need to calculate. And that is called as estimate at completion, EAC, estimate at completion. This is BAC, budget at completion, right? BAC divided by CPI. So my budget was let's do this. Budget was $100,000 divided by 0.22. That means I need $454,000 odd dollars. I need $454,545 is what I need to get this project completed. I initially anticipated $100,000, but if I continue with the same speed, I would end up spending $454,545, which is more than 4 times. Very bad. This indicates that present negative value and the index less than 1 is bad. That means you are behind schedule or overspent. Now, this is how we have revalidated it. How about time? How do we calculate for time? So time is called as final duration. Final duration. This will be the duration that you have planned for divided by SPI, Schedule Performance Index, which was 10 months divided by 0.33. And this will be, so 10 divided by 0.33, I would take 30.30 months. So I would take 30.30 months. This is how we found out the final duration, which is pretty bad, right? We don't want to overspend. This is too much. We have spent too much. We have spent too much, and we are taking more time than what we should have taken, right? We are behind schedule, and we are overspending, which is not good for the project, right? This is how you predict the future, by looking at the present. So let me put that all into the chat window as well. We have calculated the first formulas, then we need to calculate the EAC, which was estimate at completion. Thank you. Estimate completion is BAC divided by CPI. And final duration is the initial decided duration divided by SPI. Cost variance and schedule variance, negative numbers indicate we are behind schedule or overspent. And for CPI or SPI, less than 1 indicates we are going to be behind schedule and will be overspent, right? So this is how you choose. For example, in the examination, if it is given, your SPI is 0.5, what does that mean? You are behind schedule, right? So this is how you take the right judgment.